I am terrified in this video. I am just drawn in by people who aren't afraid to go there. A really good, well thought out strategy. It was like magic to me. I don't necessarily think that consistency will take you anywhere. No one was gonna see anything I made anyway. How did you structure and plan your weekly upload schedule around your 9 to 5? So I grew a vlog channel, this vlog channel, from absolutely nothing to over 100,000 subscribers by showing the world my messy apartment, my pile of dishes in the back, sharing my Walgreens hauls, and working my monotonous 9 to 5 job, and just overall being my super cringy normal self and doing things my way. Listen, I know I'm not the largest or most successful vlogger out there, but I've been through the trenches these last 6 years trying to get my channel off the ground, and I have an amazing community to show for it. Shout out to you guys. I feel like I'm doing something right. And who better to give you advice on this topic than someone that's actually done it herself? YouTube is the hardest social media platform to grow on, especially when you're a lifestyle vlogger. Something unique about you has to win somebody over before they even decide to click, unlike TikTok and Instagram where the content is just served to you. It's easy to get discouraged. But that's my goal here today, is help to dissect everything, break down these barriers so that way you feel more empowered to get your channel off the ground. Disclaimer, I am a Virgo. I like to analyze things. I take things honestly way too seriously, when in fact, like, vlogging and making videos should just be fun. Just take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Oh, maybe I should put my shoes on. We gotta leave the house. What's the one main thing that someone needs to make it work? Without blank, forget it. Purpose, without a doubt. Hold on. Without a reason why you're deciding to share your life when the tough days come and it's 3 a.m. and you were supposed to post the next day and you want to stay consistent and you have to work in the morning, like, what's gonna keep you motivated? If you want to succeed in this, it will definitely take some sacrifice. So you need to find your why. And I know a lot of you who follow me are distance runners, and I feel like you're already really good at figuring that out because it's a similar mindset. Eventually, training is gonna get really hard. What's it gonna take to keep you going? It's the same thing. Bye, Gordo. Let's go. This tea is so hot. I got a ginger lemon tea. So someone asked, why did you get into this specifically? Did you always like being on camera? I went to school for musical theater. That was my first bachelor's degree. Turns out I had developed a lot of performance anxiety from being in college and the pressures of like live performance, that it didn't feel like the right creative outlet for me anymore. And I love storytelling in that way, but just not enough to do it professionally. Turns out that like YouTube and vlogging really filled that gap for me. You're still putting together a story. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end in a vlog. The video's still going live, so it feels like an opening and closing night wrapped into one. You're getting reviews on your vlog in the comments. But also having this as my creative outlet instead worked much better with my 9 to 5 job. And it also made me so much happier in my 9 to 5 job because I had a creative outlet. I have to admit though, being on camera wasn't really my initial passion in all of this, and it's still really not. Being the one the story revolves around and myself being on camera wasn't the initial drive to start this. Okay, she's Danish. They're out of the ones with blueberry. It's a bummer. I like those, but this is still very good. Did you just start or did you have a plan? Did you start knowing your niche or did it evolve over time? Based on the videos that you see are my oldest ones, I had no idea that I wanted to be a vlogger when I started my YouTube channel. I just knew I wanted to make videos, and then eventually I figured I would sort that out. This entire era was just me learning how to edit, learning what videos I'd like to make, just finding comfort in the fact that no one was gonna see anything I made anyway. So it was okay to be like super messy with my content. I actually counted, and through the years, I've privated 16 videos from this era. Not because I'm embarrassed by them, but because the content is just so far off from what it is now. I think it would be confusing for me to have both exist on one channel. I had an entire era where I thought I could be a self-help channel. My name is Chelsea, getting down with the self-growth. I adjusted all my branding to it. I did a 5-day self-growth series, and then I realized after that I had nothing else to talk about on the topic. So I'm like, that's not gonna work. I think I've tried to follow the rules too much. That's not entirely my fault. These videos were made in 2020, and back then I feel like YouTube was way more SEO driven. As a small channel, there was a small likelihood that my videos would be pushed out on the YouTube homepage. I felt like, from my experience, that YouTube wasn't pushing out smaller channels as much like YouTube is now. So my main strategy was just making my content searchable, which I think removed a lot of personality from my videos. And the ones that I did try and add a personality spin on, like this dad joke drinking game. Like, what the heck was that? What's ET short for? So he can fit on the spaceship. It's not good. That's not good. Those ones didn't end up doing all that well because they're just not searchable. Like my first video here is by far my worst, by far. But this was me giving 100%. Anyways, if you clicked on this video, you probably have had cystic acne. I am terrified in this video. If I made this exact same video now, it would be me giving 20% only and not 100% because my skill level's gotten a lot better than this. When you're learning something new, the important thing is that you are giving it everything you have every time, and it's not so much about the finished product. How long did it take you to be natural talking to the camera? In this era, at this time, I didn't think I was that unnatural, honestly. This next part's my favorite because I love making my coffee. It's an important ritual in my day. Some of my friends told me that they're like, oh, I see improvement in your camera presence. I was like, oh, it was that bad to begin with? And they're like, you know. You can see in my eyes that I'm just terrified. But slowly I did get more comfortable. And something that I learned that helped me with this is like holding the camera differently. Sit-down videos is like pretty much all I was doing at the time. Like having the camera set up on a tripod, having my makeup and hair done, having to feel like I had to reach a level of perfection just was too intimidating for me. So I found it was helpful if I just like grabbed the camera and just started recording, even if it's like from down here, which doesn't really make any sense for camera presence, but it made me a lot more comfortable just talking because it didn't feel like there was so much pressure. And I still feel that way. I took a film for acting class in college, and one of the most useful pieces of advice was be intentional about who you're looking at through the lens, and looking through the lens, not in the viewfinder, but just pick like one person and pretend you're talking to them. And actually like look at them, because I think my issue in my earlier videos was me just like opening my eyes wide to like everybody who's behind the screen, and it's not just talking to one person. Was your content always in New York City? Is that like a good word people are searching for, and did that help you? It took me a while to realize that people wanted to see New York City content. I wasn't really thinking things through like you probably are, thinking about like types of content that are relevant to me that I can talk about. I had a lot of stories and life experience from living in New York City that I could talk about. And I was like, duh, why am I not utilizing New York City more in my content? When I put out my first New York City vlog, that was my first video to get over 100 views, and not just like my friends and family watching. That was humongous for me. And I think that's how my video got like the initial traction. By traction, I mean like maybe my first 300 subscribers. Ginger tea slaps, man. Should probably take this out. So I started talking about my experience in New York City more often. I had distinct videos that were like New York City advice, and then I was really into video diaries and sort of getting into vlogs. And having a mix of these two types of videos worked for me to get my channel off the ground. I've seen a lot of vloggers do this, not just with New York City or their location, but with one of those content pillars that we talked about earlier, some sort of educational content that has direct value for the audience, manifestation or tech or fashion. Side note, having this type of evergreen content on your channel or videos that have a longer relevance or shelf life on YouTube is a smart move, I think, because at any point one of those topics could have a resurgence of popularity, and your video could be the first one to appear in search or on someone's homepage, and you could get an influx of views from that, which could monetize your channel. In 2026, I think this is still a valid strategy, but there's more flexibility with what's considered evergreen, and we'll get to my thoughts on that soon. So the video that got me monetized was my studio apartment tour. When I posted that video, I think I had around 500 subscribers, and very quickly that video started to do well. That one definitely got picked up and put on the homepage. That was the video that pushed me over 1,000 subscribers, which is the subscriber threshold you need to monetize your channel, and it pushed me over 4,000 watch hours in a 12-month period. It happened a lot quicker than 12 months. But I feel like there's a couple of reasons why it was the apartment tour that took off. One, because it's an apartment tour. Apartment content is so popular, especially in New York City, but could be anywhere. But I think it's also because it was a relatively lower priced apartment, and it was me living alone for the first time. But also I feel like this is the first video where my editing actually started to support my personality. What is that called? It's not echinacea. It's not euthanasia. What is that called? What is that called? And that's when I was like, oh, things are starting to click. That's some secret sauce. Making highly searchable content in the vlog style while emphasizing my personality was a major turning point for me that eventually started pushing my videos out on the YouTube homepage. And if we're to go a step further than just content pillars, any type of arc you have going on in your life, are you lost in your 20s? Are you starting over in your 30s? Did you just get laid off? Are you withdrawing from nicotine? Whatever. Bring your viewers along. An ongoing journey in a type of series, I think, is gold. There is some more secret sauce to this that we gotta add on top, though, which we'll talk about about in a bit. Was there a video that made you have that aha moment in regards to success? Yes. And that's like the biggest turning point I'm gonna talk about. I truly believe that I was not prepared for my channel to take off until this moment. If my channel took off any earlier, I think I would have had real issues with consistency. It would have just stressed me out and it would have all been for nothing. So in hindsight, all of this happened at just the right time, like 2.5 years into my channel. So I was coming back to YouTube after a long break, and in my first video out, I ended up breaking my vlog camera, and that was a huge ultimatum for me. And I talked about it in one of my videos where I had to decide, like, is it gonna be worth it to get another camera at this point when I'm so inconsistent? Or am I gonna upgrade to something better and I have to force myself to actually really give this a try? If anything, to pay off the camera itself. It was like magic to me that my first video back, that video is my most viewed video to this day. This video was the first one that I felt like I was making videos I would watch if I didn't know me. So how did I end up like just posting the right thing at the right time? I think some of it's luck that this video was the one that went viral, but I also think a lot of it was a really good, well thought out strategy. I had made a point to spend so much more time editing my videos than I had given prior, when I was talking about like when it was first starting to click that my editing was starting to really support my personality. That really came out in this video. My strategy was watch retention at the time. In my head, I was like, YouTube is competing with TikTok. TikTok is having its major moment, so I need to make my video feel just as fast-paced as a TikTok would to keep people from like leaving the YouTube app and opening up their phone for short-form content. I had seen someone post on Instagram a bunch of like sample YouTube titles that you can use to like spark a curiosity gap. Examples that were like a little clickbaity, but you could take them and spin them around and make them your own. And so I did that with this video. The most realistic, like it's very overreaching and it might not even be true, but I think that probably had something to do with the video's success, is I was making the title about the viewer and not necessarily about me and just what I was doing in the video. The thumbnail was me doing laundry. It is very accurate to the video, but it made me realize like, oh, it can just be so much simpler than I think it is. It doesn't have to take so much planning to just pick up your camera and film. Another reason why I think this video did well is because I was filling a gap that I didn't see on YouTube. I could be wrong. I personally wasn't seeing anyone advertise their videos as like hyper realistic, or if they were, then the videos weren't actually realistic. I was like, okay, I feel like it's valid that my title is so like clickbaity sounding, because at the time I think it kind of was. I just decided to fill that gap, and I let the audience know in the first 10 seconds that I was filling that gap. I just like came at it with like a really absurd level of confidence that I had never had on my channel before, and I don't even know if I have today. I was excited that my vlog style videos were the one taking off because it was the type of video that I really enjoyed making. It was more of those vlog style, like video diary type videos, which is the type of content that the people that were subscribing wanted to come back and see. So I really stopped with a lot of like the sit down Q&A videos after that, and I went more toward that like combination between evergreen and vlog style. Last year I made a video that opened my eyes a little bit. I was inspired by another content creator who was really open about her experience with hair loss and getting hair extensions, and that really inspired me to start talking about my experience with my hair loss. The video is just themed around these taboo topics of like hair loss, weight gain, and just aging. While it has a significant amount of views, it's not as many as like my other higher performing videos, but the engagement rate on that video is so much higher. Like engagement rate meaning like likes and comments. If you just take a moment to read some of these, I swear this comment section healed me. And I remember thinking, this is what it's really about. Of course, I'm happy that this video is doing well and the numbers were high. You always love seeing that when you've worked really hard on a video, but this was signaling to me the level of depth that people really wanted. I feel like when you have a vlog channel, it's good to let go of the idea that you might be oversharing, as long as you're like not crossing a personal boundary of yours on like what you decide to keep more to yourself. If you're not crossing a boundary, we want to hear those details. I watch a ton of vlogs and I am just drawn in by people who aren't afraid to go there. And I've learned that if I'm just a little bit afraid to post something because I'm like opening up a little bit more, it's probably because like it's not all that normalized to talk about. Maybe me talking about it could be inspiration for another person to talk about it, and then it becomes more normalized. Vulnerability doesn't always mean you're talking about these heavier, big topics. It could just mean challenging yourself to go a little bit deeper with just the everyday moments too. Taking your audience through your thought process on something instead of just going from thing to thing to thing to thing. It's not just like a show and tell of like, this is my day. It's, this is what I felt doing it. These are the thought processes I was having. These are challenges I was facing about the thing I was doing. So remember when we concluded that high demand content or series paired with vlog style with your personality on blast is a magic combination and that there's more secret sauce? This is the sauce, guys. In my opinion, what sets you apart from other vloggers on the platform isn't always what you're doing. It's how you feel about it. It's you being willing to go deeper. Someone asked me if there's too much competition on YouTube. I think there's always a place for creators who make effort to step out of the mold and share something real. Do you think there's a market for those of us who are older? I'm nearly 50. Yes. I actually think the opportunity is huge for people like 50 plus, even like in their 40s too. I mean, we're all heading there eventually in our content. You guys are just getting a head start. I feel like you get so much wisdom from someone who's been on this earth longer, and we want to hear it. Where do you draw the line between public versus private in terms of what you're willing to share? I'm pretty much an open book on my channel, as you know, which is how I am in real life when I'm comfortable around you. While I am open with most things, I think I always will feel strongly about keeping my dating life private and relationships private, and especially my family private, because those people didn't sign up to have a life online. They didn't sign up to like have a digital footprint on a YouTube channel, you know? Any tips to stay motivated when you're below 500 subs? I love this question. And it's to live stream. Gosh, here I am about to preach to you about how awesome live streaming is for community building, but also I haven't done it in so long and I really would like to do more of live streaming. It's so terrifying to live stream. I will say that. I get nervous every time. What's helped me during live streams is always having like a couple prompts in mind, questions or like conversation starters that people can put in the comments. Asking your audience where they're from or like where they're watching the live from is a great way to start that conversation. And then also having something to do during a live stream I think really helped. In my last live stream I was making a brunch and it was a little bit harder to like focus on cooking and not burning my breakfast while I was trying to answer questions thoughtfully and also like trying to engage in the chat. Hey, thanks for coming. I'm sorry if I've missed your comments earlier. ASMR. When I was making brunch, I did miss a lot of people's messages. The live was probably more interesting for people watching it back than it was for people that were actually engaging in the live. It's a great way for your audience to like see you stripped back with no edits and just see you for who you are. My favorite experiences live streaming were my first couple of them when I had no more than 20 people on live at a time. No one is here. It's my first time going live. Oh my god. Hi, baby girl. It's a great way to stay motivated because you realize that these people are actually people. Like, sure, some of the subscribers might be bots, but for the most part, your subscribers are actual people, and it always reminds me of that. You usually just see people's comments and people's icons in response to something that you posted, and you don't get to like talk with each other in real time, and I think that's super powerful with building community trust, keeping people engaged with you and your channel long term. Back to the computer, guys. Oh. Belly! Girl! Oh my gosh. You can't even see her. You're kind of far away now, but whatever. Here's what the vlogging inception process looks like for me when I'm posting every week. So first you ask yourself, is there something I really want to talk about? A story I want to tell? Or do I have a great idea for a themed vlog with a conflict of beginning and middle end? To be clear, this does not mean that like the content itself is scripted. You're still living and filming organically, but I know better like what to chat about with you. If this is a yes, that I have this theme in mind, then I start to think about the thumbnail and I start to think about the title. And because of this, the editing process can be pretty straightforward. So if you're like, no, I don't have any idea when to film this week, but I know I need to film something, in that case, I would just pick the camera up and just start filming and let the story unfold. This one though, sometimes editing takes literally twice as long. That's when I'm kind of making an introduction from scratch. It can be harder to tie in the theme after you're done filming. From my experience, feeling like I need to have a winning idea before picking up the camera tends to paralyze me, so I adopted this strategy of having two possible processes depending on what's happening in my life and how I feel, to then hopefully yield the same result while preventing creative burnout. This is why I made this video so specific for vlogs, because this whole marketing aspect doesn't really apply to like other niches because it's kind of obvious. Like you have to come up with a killer video idea beforehand. You know, that's kind of like how the process goes. But with vlogging, it's much different. I think allowing space for happy accidents while you're vlogging to influence the marketing of your content is great. Recently, yes, I've learned that my vlogs are doing better when I'm thinking and considering marketing sooner in the process. It's important to me to not have everything planned out all the time. I don't have the energy for that. This was the video, a drain snake comes up my bathroom sink when I'm in the bathroom and I'm about to take a shower. It was fun for me to like make a story around that and like market my video with that. When I started the video, I was just making just another vlog. So I exercised my like flexibility to run with the apartment issues. When YouTubers say just keep posting as advice to new YouTubers, does it really work? In my opinion, consistency absolutely works when you're just starting out, when the consistency is for you and getting over that learning curve and not necessarily for channel growth. You're just learning how to get into the routine of things. You're learning how vlogging is gonna start integrating into your life. You're learning new edits. Repetition with that will help you improve really, really fast. Of course, your audience is gonna benefit from it too, but at this point, consistency is more for improvement. When you're like, okay, I've got the routine down, I'm starting to get the hang of editing, I kind of know what content I like to make, then I think it's time you can take it up a notch. I think if you're posting the same thing every day and it's not working and you're just expecting something to change, it's not going to work. Consistency has to be intentional, and I think a great goal is to learn something new every video you're putting out. Watch a YouTube tip video, implement something from that, learn a new edit. If you're posting videos without learning anything new, without taking any risks, I don't necessarily think that consistency will take you anywhere. But so long as you're improving and you're not burning yourself out, yeah, I think consistency really works. How do you choose topics and titles for your videos? Feels like lifestyle is hard since you're living on repeat. Yes. It feels like there's pressure to reinvent the wheel every time, but you also can't copy the video that you just did. But me and my thesaurus are besties. I also look at people in my niche and see what buzzwords they're using. And I don't copy those, but I maybe go to the thesaurus with those videos to see if there's something else. So now my strategy with my thumbnail is trying more to pull something specific from the video and have that be on the thumbnail, and then keep the title still kind of more basic. I think that strategy has been working a little bit, and it's been more fun and creative for me. I've gotten really good feedback from people I really admire that I might be marketing myself as something that I'm not. I think I got caught up for a while getting people to click with an aesthetic looking thumbnail and title, and that's not me. Sometimes I'm like, just let me use the pretty photo. Sometimes I just want to look cute in the thumbnail, but majority of my videos is just me in my hoodie, just hanging out. So I think I'm trying to do more of that. But I think that was really good feedback. In that sense, I have to be honest about like who I actually am, who my audience is. But I think about that every time I make a thumbnail now. How did you structure and plan your weekly upload schedule around your 9 to 5? Once my video started doing well, I locked in. I think it was fortunate also. I didn't have a boyfriend at the time. I didn't have many friends at the time. I was actually feeling less lonely by like connecting with you guys on the internet. So I put my whole into making these videos every week. I had no social life. So when I say like I made a bunch of sacrifices, I did. I made like a lot of time sacrifices, and I didn't have any time to myself or exploring any other hobbies at all, but this meant so much to me. At that point, it was like 2.5 years I've been on YouTube, and I'm like, I've been waiting for this moment. So I was like happy to put everything else in the back burner. But technical wise, I like was able to get a little bit of editing done through the week, but my job was in office every day, Monday through Friday. There wasn't time to edit before work, and after work I would get home at, it wasn't too late, it's like 7 o'clock. But you know, if you're going to bed at 10, that doesn't give you a lot of time to actually get a lot of things done in the edit. So I would save it for like Friday nights and Saturdays, because I think I used to post on Sundays if I remember right. And I would just get a majority of the stuff done like on the weekend when I was officially off work for the week. But I think it worked for me because I was really just vlogging my regular life. So there was no expectation that I would be like going out and exploring New York City all that much or doing like these lavish luxury activities. That honestly wasn't me. It was okay that I like didn't have a lot of free time, because in that free time I did have, it was like when I was making pasta or cooking or doing dishes, and that's what I filmed, and that's what people wanted to see. So it worked out. Okay, so now to more of the technical stuff. Let's talk about cameras. Like many other vloggers, so we started out with this camera. This is the Canon G7X Mark II. I got this after making 4 videos on my iPhone, and my iPhone was a little bit older, so it was really struggling with the storage issue. The quality was really not that great. So I quickly realized like, oh, I'm liking this video making thing. So I got myself one of these. Guys, do I recommend this camera? No, not for vlogging. I mean, it's easy to use. The controls are simple. I don't even know if you can get the Mark II anymore. The autofocus was really annoying. You could hear the autofocus in the camera footage. The internal mic is the only mic you could use with this. There's no input for an external microphone, and so the audio quality was pretty bad. It did the job, and I had this for 2.5 years, and this is until I broke my camera and I needed to decide if I was going to upgrade or not. I definitely wasn't about to buy another one of these. Then I got the Sony ZV-E10. This baby. Ooh, so pretty. We've got a pull-out screen. We've got a large external microphone. You're able to switch out lenses on this. So the Sony ZV-E10 came with this kit lens that I sometimes use because it has zooming capabilities and it's not so wide of a shot as the lens that I normally use. The lens that I always use is the Sony 11mm wide lens, and that was a really intentional choice. This whole camera was a really intentional choice. This camera does really, really well in low light. This wide lens especially. The Sony kit lens does not do well in low light. It's super, super grainy, but it does really great in natural light, so I keep it around, and I do use it sometimes still. But I think the aperture of the Sony 11mm is really good for low light. I knew that like when I first got this camera, I was in my studio, which was like a cave, and I needed something that was good in low light to make my videos even semi-watchable. It was important for me to be creating 4K videos too, because the content that I was making was washing the dishes, doing the laundry. Like, this is the way I can elevate my videos. No matter how messy the content of my videos is, if it's filmed in good quality, people will watch. And I think that served me pretty well. I don't know if that's the case for everybody, but I'm a huge contender for like higher quality content. A lot of people, especially for longer vlogs, are sitting down on their TV and watching it that way. The quality translates well in 4K to the TV. For my running content, when I used to do it, I have this GoPro. I think this is the GoPro Hero 10. I might be wrong, but I also got this little case and this little lanyard for when I was running. I would wrap that around my wrist. I loved this for running because it was just one on and off button. I didn't have to worry about setting up like 0.5 on my iPhone. It also has like a little viewfinder. And then lastly, I have this baby. I got the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 a couple months ago actually. I have been so impressed with the quality on this thing. This camera, it looks just like a GoPro. They look really, really similar. It's even smaller, but you can get 4K footage out of this, and the stabilization is insane. There's not even like too much of a difference between the quality on this and the quality of my Sony when I'm outside. When I'm inside, I feel like my quality is a lot clearer on my Sony, while the iPhone is a great option. Like, I use these two when I'm out of the house all the time. When I'm at school, I vlog with my phone because I just like don't even want to pull out any camera because I don't want people asking questions. When I'm out and about doing like Explore New York City videos, I used to bring my Sony. While the quality was great, you guys, it took me like 6 extra hours to stabilize the footage from my Sony. The stabilization on the Sony is not good. So I'm like, I only use this when I'm sitting down at home. But it's a reason also that I got the 11mm wide lens. While it's a little bit distorted on the ends, when I'm out filming, I know I'm gonna have to stabilize the footage because the stabilization is so bad. That requires a little bit of a crop in. I think it's really smart to vlog with a wide lens. The wider you get, the more information the viewer has. The more they have to look at. You're bringing people into your world. You have to show as much of that world as you can. So if I'm out with like this lens and I'm trying to vlog myself, it's already really cropped in. People can't see anything except up my nose, which I probably show them anyways, but and you can do horizontal, you can do vertical. This is like a magnetic mount, getting kind of cooler angles, hooking this onto like anything metal in the city. This came with a wide angle lens, but it fell off and I could not find it, so I don't have it right now. But I have this black Pro Mist filter that I was influenced to buy this. You really don't need it. When I'm filming outside at night, I like to use this because it gives a cool cinematic effect. It makes the street lights bloom. It makes like colorful LED lights in the bar really stand out. But you guys, if you're just starting, you really just need your phone. The quality is so much better these days. When it comes to editing software, I started out with iMovie because I'm an Apple girly And iMovie is a free editing program when you buy a MacBook. And I actually started editing on my iPad because I didn't have a laptop at the time I started my YouTube channel, but I hated it. I hated editing on my iPad. Maybe it's different now. Maybe the user experience has improved. But I hate editing with my finger. I just feel like you can't get enough precision. If you're really serious about editing, do not use a MacBook Air. I actually tried to get a MacBook Air before I got my MacBook Pro, but I was running into so many processing issues. Final Cut Pro kept crashing because my files were too big. I went back and I got a MacBook Pro, and that lasted me up until like August when I just got my new MacBook. And now I have the 14-inch MacBook Pro. I think it's with the M4. Have you always used the same editing software or has it changed? After about 6 months, I graduated from iMovie into Final Cut Pro because there's a lot of limitations in iMovie. At least when I used it, you can only have one overlay at a time. Overlay is like an emoji or a piece of text or a clip on top of me talking.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
So I had to get really creative with finding loopholes for that, and it was getting too time consuming. Final Cut Pro and iMovie are really similar in like where they keep the raw footage, where the effects are, where the timeline is, and so it's kind of easy to make that transition. So then I upgraded to Final Cut Pro, and that was like a one-time fee of $299, something like that. And I think you can put Final Cut Pro on a few of your devices, and there's no monthly subscription. If you're like using it on multiple devices, where you start a project is where you have to complete it. The projects don't sync across devices, but there are ways you can like transport timelines from one computer to another. You can use like Frame.io. When I had an editor, we would use Frame.io to share raw footage and timelines with each other when we go back and forth. How do you prevent music copywriting issues? I use Epidemic Sound, and I've used them ever since the beginning of my channel. I think the tier that I have is $20 a month, but it also comes with sound effects. Editing. Like I said, this deserves its own video, but I feel like there's a handful of tips I have that can help give your videos a boost. Consider what first impression you want to make on your viewers in the first 10 seconds of your video. What about you or your experience in this video do you want to hook them with to get them to keep watching? What is something important about you that you want viewers to know right away? I think reiterating kind of the title in some way, whether it's with a voiceover or an on-screen overlay, helps the viewer to know that they're gonna get what they clicked for. I have a deep appreciation for videos that get straight to the point. And I think there's a lot of power in starting your vlog while you're doing something. Are you heading somewhere? Are you in the middle of like getting ready to go on a date? Are you in a rush? What moment is engaging to invite someone in? And this is just my editing style also. There's so many ways to start a vlog. I like to make a different intro every time, just because it's fun and creative. Sometimes that requires a voiceover, sometimes it doesn't, but no matter what, I always try and introduce myself over some B-roll in the beginning. If you say it in a voiceover and it's supporting an action that moves the story forward, I think that's an interesting way to get new viewers up to speed. When I was talking earlier about like sometimes you just have to kind of create the story while you're editing, voiceovers is the biggest tool I use for that. I can't change videos that I've already filmed. It's a great way to like include some vulnerability and go a little bit deeper.
I'm a huge fan of Katie Steckley. Her videos on how to vlog have helped me enormously over the years. She introduced me to the concept of having parallel storylines going in a vlog.
But there's also the parallel structure, and in the parallel structure, your story or video might focus on multiple characters and events happening to them simultaneously.
So even if the B-roll footage was doing one thing, you could talk about something completely different in the voiceover, and that can help to tie in larger themes as you're putting the story together.
It's similar to like when you're on Instagram and you see an Instagram reel of 500 clips strung together with a voiceover underneath, and yet it all seems to be packaged kind of perfectly together. It's kind of the same thing, but just in long form. When you're new at making videos, I don't want you to get too caught up in the editing right away, because that is just a massive learning curve. I wish I had followed this advice. Just focus on making the first minute or two really solid, and then just kind of like focus your main attention on the thumbnail, on that marketing. So you have the best chance at that point on getting your video out there with a killer thumbnail and title. Recently, I've been learning how to embrace a good pause.
Well, sort of like that, but not really.
Like a little bit of a break. As I've told you, like my past strategy has been watch retention and just like pounding people with the content to keep them from clicking off. But now I feel like people on YouTube on a long form vlog, they're not necessarily there for that. There's a fatigue of that type of pace. Usually in my like faster paced videos a couple years ago, I would cut out anything when I would like watch the video back. And if I ever felt like I needed to reach for my phone, I would cut that out of the video. Now that I have like a more established audience, they're like, okay, relax a little bit. We'll sit and listen to you chat on your couch for 20 minutes. I keep those in now because I think that is valuable to have moments with you and the audience that doesn't have anything on top of it. I've learned through the years that if you have something interesting to say and it's relevant, you don't need to rely on editing and marketing to get clicks. You just gotta be authentically you. So experimenting with that has been fun for me in the last year. What if you don't like editing? You really have to find something you like about it, otherwise you'll be miserable trying to stay consistent. My favorite editing effect. Just kidding. What is it called? Like a broken TV effect. Like that. And that's a cool way, I think, to change the pacing of the video. It's like an energy reset and I really like it.
We've covered so much in this video, all the technical bits and strategies, but vlogging has this separate layer that you can't really learn from tutorials, and it might be the most important part, and a lot of you clock that too. How do you manage being perceived by a mass audience? How do you balance replies, good and bad? Do you ever feel too exposed? How do you get over the fear of being judged, battling self-doubt and anxiety? I am positive that every vlogger out there openly putting their life online experiences all of this more often than you think behind the scenes. On the grand scale of YouTube, I'm still small fish compared to other channels, so I can't imagine to what level others experience this, but for me, the fear of being perceived is always present. What's changed is I just sort of got used to living in that discomfort, especially the fear of being perceived in a way I didn't intend someone to. It's hard to let go of that control sometimes of what others are gonna say, and it feels extra personal because the content is you, so criticism can feel like a personal attack even when it's said with good intentions. At the end of the day, I just gotta remind myself that it's a vlog, you know? The other person's probably already moved on with their day. I need to as well. I will say things improved a lot for me when I started to invest more in my life outside of YouTube, especially being full-time. If I'm feeling fulfilled in my personal life, then I'm not seeking validation as much from people on the internet. As for feeling too exposed, I want to remind you that you are the one fully in control. If it feels like it's way too much to share and that's what your gut's telling you, then that's totally okay. Give yourself some patience and grace so that you can come back to it and hopefully have some fun. Posting only once a week for me helps me from feeling too exposed too. With that said, I want to congratulate you with this emoji diploma because woohoo, you've just graduated from this video and hopefully you can now feel inspired to create something even if it's just for you. Before you take it though, if you like this video, it would really help me out if you liked this or hyped the video. This kind of engagement helps YouTube recognize my channel and push it out to other awesome people like you. And also no pressure, but I'd love it if you also subscribed if you're interested in my vlogs. I put one up on the screen that you can watch next if you're not tired of listening to my voice yet. But thank you so much for watching. Good luck, you got this, and I'll see you next time.